Hi, this is Robert Fukui, president of I-61, and thank you for downloading my growth map and the bonus growth pyramid. So please check your inbox the next 5 to 10 minutes for your copy, but in the meantime, be sure to watch this video in its entirety so I can walk you through this, so I can help you use this to quickly increase your profits within the first 30 days of implementation. And I don't say that lightly because I've seen this time and time again, because much of the strategies that we talk about are things that yield an immediate impact. And so just so you know that you're in the right place, I want to point out that these are the exact strategies that I use with all of my clients, and also many of the most profitable businesses in the world use it each and every day, including the Fortune 100 companies that I've worked for over the past 25 years. And so it's really that experience with those types of companies that I'm using to leverage and help a business just like yours do the same thing and reach the same type of productivity and profitability as some of the major corporations that you see. So in short, this process has worked quote-unquote miracles for my clients, and anywhere from startups to $100 million a year. Some of the strategies that we put in place seems like miracles to my clients. But it's not magic. It's not it's not a get-rich-quick type of thing. These are just really solid business fundamentals that the largest corporations use, and I've had the privilege and the blessings to be able to work with companies like that and be able to learn from that, so I can help a business just like yours. So as you might be aware and you're experiencing it right now, otherwise you probably won't be watching this video, but lack of margin is a real and major issue that faces a business every day. So you're probably shaking your head, because otherwise, like I said, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So when I say margin, it's not just profit margins, but it's also margin of time. So not just margin in money, but margin of time. So low or no profit margins is the main reason why 50% of the business fail. So when you have lack of profit margins, usually that means that you have to spend a lot more time trying to make up for that gap, right? And unfortunately, many businesses aren't able to do that. So there are three main symptoms of low margins. So the first one is obvious, is just lack of money, right? So, and when I say lack of money, when I look at net profit, after all the expenses are paid and after your salary is paid, if you're hovering at your net profit is hovering around 5% or less as a relation to total net sales, then really you're probably struggling, even though you're making some kind of profit. But when you're in that range, a lot of times that means that you're probably not consistent in reaching profitability. Number two is no time. The owners and the staff probably just feel overworked and underpaid. Right? You probably feel like you probably make more money if you worked at McDonald's than what you're doing. But lack of time margin is an issue. And then number three, the owner, like you, may not be taking a regular salary. You're just taking what's left over. So the net income that you see at the bottom of your profit and loss statement, that's the money you use to pay yourself. So the good news is that if you're struggling with any of these issues, and if you're struggling with one, it means you're probably struggling with all three. I'm going to show you how to increase the profitability of your business by following this growth map, so you can increase your profits, invest into your business, and gain back the valuable time you need to grow the business. Does that sound okay? All right, so let's dig in. I'm going to quickly share my screen so you can see the business growth map or roadmap that you downloaded, and I'll walk you through that as well as the growth pyramid. So the first thing we're going to look at is the roadmap. So we're going to start down here in the discovery phase. The first thing you want to do, and what I do with all of my business, is complete an audit of the business. Look at every aspect of the business, and it starts with looking at the last 12 months profit and loss statement to see where you might be losing margin. Because accurate accounting, bookkeeping records, hopefully you have good bookkeeping records. Then we can start to see where you might be losing margin. And we don't just look at just the general profit and loss statement, but I like to break it up in as many categories as possible, because a business like yours, you most likely have more than one product or service category that you generate sales from. So it's important to look at your profit margins across all these different categories. And then the next thing is to look at efficiencies. Is your labor costs might be too high in relation to sales, so we have to figure out, we might have to address that. How do we become more efficient there so that we have better margins, especially between labor and sales? Right, so you might have to increase price, or maybe reduce, maybe eliminate some redundancies in labor, or figure out ways to make the labor more efficient, and that goes up to the profit strategy. The one ways we can increase margin, or the two ways we can increase margin, is one, increase price, or two, reduce expenses. And that's, again, it's all starting from the financial audit. We figure out how to do that, and then we develop a profit strategy. Once we have some good profit fundamentals, some good financial fundamentals, Now we can move on to the marketing strategy. Too many times people want to engage me as a marketing specialist and they jump right to here as opposed to starting right here. So we need to start from the beginning and work our way this way, make sure we have some good financial fundamentals. Now we can start to do more marketing and get more customers. And then the operational strategy was where we look at the personnel, make sure we have the right people, we're training them adequately, we're developing leaders. That's going to increase the efficiency in labor that will reduce or increase our profit margins. Once we have these strategies in place, now we go to the execution phase and we forecast, develop a 3-year sales and profit forecast, and then we go into launch mode, launching the new profit strategy. And a lot of times, a lot of my clients were already implementing some of the new pricing and cost structures right away before we even hit the formal launch phase. And so they're actually increasing the profitability right away, because when we address the profit issue or the margin issue, it's not about how do we increase profits by getting more sales, it's how do we increase profits by what you're doing now. So that's why I say increasing profits in 30 days of implementation is a very realistic expectation. And you'll see that when we go through it, especially if you schedule a call with me. And the last piece, which is most important, or just as important as anything else, is the pivot. So I think it's Mike Tyson that famously said, a plan is great until you get hit in the face, or you get punched in the face, I think it was. So plans don't always go according to plan. And so we got to be ready to make adjustments. And so we can so we can kind of execute on the strategy. So we got to be flexible enough and be ready to pivot, make adjustments, because plans don't always work out the first time. Right? So that's the business growth roadmap. So as simple and powerful as this is, the most important thing you need to understand is that this is only a small part of the bigger journey. And so I'm going to go to the next slide here. And so what you're looking at here is the growth pyramid. And this kind of gives you a framework of where you want to be. And I use this with all of my clients. You want to be up here in level 4, where your net income or your net profit is anywhere from 11 to 15% of total net sales. So you can look at this growth pyramid to figure out where you are. Are you in the level 1 area where you're not making money, or maybe you're at 0 net profit margin, and that's where you're just struggling to keep things going? Or are you just kind of barely surviving? You're making a profit. Your net profit margin is anywhere from 1 to 5% of total net sales. You're doing pretty good. You're paying all the bills. Like I said, you're probably starting to even draw a regular salary, but the cash flow might be a little bit inconsistent. And then, or are you level 3, where your net profit is anywhere from 6 to 10% of total net sales? You're doing pretty good. There's still a little bit of inconsistencies, but you're doing pretty good. You're taking a regular salary. You're now able to save some, invest into the future a little bit. But where you really want to be is when you're up in that level 4 area. And when you're at that level of profitability, now you're sustainable. And now you start looking 5-10 years into the future. And that's where we want all of our business to be. That's why we want to take all of my clients. So if you want to be crystal clear on the one thing you should be doing right now, and if you're really serious about getting results, I want you to book time with me. I'm offering a free 45-minute profit assessment to get you on the right path for growth. So please note that this call is ideal for, when you're anywhere from level 1 to 3. If you're struggling with marginalized profits and you want to get up to that level 4 area, go ahead, check out my calendar, and I'll see you on the other side. All right? Oh yeah, take care. See you soon.